I'm sorry, I'm not going to pull any punches. The name to me is stupid and boring. One is an absolute hate. I'm sorry, Mama, you told me never to use that word, but when in Rome. But it also smells like gym socks. I would have happily scrubbed this off with sandpaper if it was around. If you spray this on your skin, you're going to smell like you forgot to take a shower for a week. And all sorts of horrible things tumbled on top of it, like dirt from the bottom of your child's tennis shoe. And mark my words, nobody will be talking about this next year. Nobody. Hey everybody, welcome. If you're new, my name is Chris. Today's video is all about my thoughts on new releases. I'm going to be honest, this is going to be a little bit of a roasting. I have just not been super impressed with a bunch of new releases over the past few months. But you guys like these type of videos, and I've had a bunch of you reach out and ask me my opinions on a bunch of the ones I'm going to be talking about today. I'm going to jump right in with the newest Christian Dior release, specifically the new Miss Dior. It's Miss Dior Parfum. I bought this on the Dior website blindly, and I'm going to tell you why. Well, number one, I've enjoyed basically every flanker of the Miss Dior line. I think this is one of the best designer releases. I've enjoyed the original and the flankers, so I thought it would be safe. Secondly, I love Francis Curtijon, and he is now the creative director. He is now the nose behind the fragrances, so I was very, very excited. And I will tell you that this is a like. I think this is a really good release, but for those of you who already have a lot of the flankers, it might be a little bit redundant. Miss Dior Parfum to me is a combination of several of the Miss Dior perfumes. Number one, it reminds me a little bit or a lot of Miss Dior Cherie. I love that one. I had that one, went through a bottle, did not buy it again, and then it became discontinued. It reminds me of Miss Dior Absolutely Blooming, and there is a little bit of Miss Dior Blooming Bouquet in here. Miss Dior Cherie had that strawberry note, so the strawberry note is in here. It's got a little bit of that peony note, the pink peony that is in Blooming Bouquet. That peony I can smell in here. It also has this rich ambery pepperiness that's in Absolutely Blooming that I can detect in here, and it definitely has the patchouli background of Coco Mademoiselle. So if you combined all those perfumes, you would come up with Miss Dior Parfum. It's a very, very nice release, but it's just a little redundant for somebody who owns or have owned all of those perfumes in the past. I hate to use the word, it's not super unique and different, but it is a very pretty perfume. And if you have loved all the perfumes that I talk about and you don't own them, then this might be a good pickup. It wasn't at my local Sephora about a month ago. That's why I bought it online. It may be there. I definitely recommend, like everything else, you test first. Speaking of Sephora, a lot of people, particularly over on Instagram, were going crazy over the new Saie Cheirosa body spray. So I went over there to test it, and I will say that one was also a disappointment. First of all, I should say I'm a huge fan of those body sprays. I have, I think, 4. I have 71, I have 62, I have 39, I think that's Coco Cabana, and I have 68, which is the fruity, lychee, dragon fruit one. I love all those. So I assumed I would love this new one. I just thought it fell flat. It was a little bit boring. It is a violet-based perfume or body mist. So it's got violet, it has vanilla, and I just think it missed the mark. I just think it missed the mark. It was a little bit humdrum to me. It was a little bit generic, kind of boring, and I just didn't think it would add anything, at least for my collection. I didn't think it would add anything to my collection. So it's very easy to sample. It's very easy to try. When I went over to my Sephora, it was literally the first thing you see when you walk in the door. So no, so I will not be spending my money on the newest Saie Cheirosa body spray. Okay, now I'm going to start getting into more of the serious roasting. Let's address the newest release from Tom Ford, Vanilla Sex. I smelled this long ago when it first came out. You know, people were going nuts because of the name. Like, people were doing donuts to try and smell this perfume that had the name Sex in it. To me, I just kind of rolled my eyes. I did not think that was a very creative name. But the marketing team knew what they were talking about, because people were going crazy about it, smelling it, buying it. I'm sorry, I'm not going to pull any punches. The name to me is stupid and boring, and I thought they could have come up with something much better. So went to test it, And this perfume is the perfect example of why you never purchase a perfume from the opening only. This has a great opening. It smells like vanilla and almond. It is a really yummy vanilla almond marzipan-y perfume. So I can see how it would get people in the first couple of sprays, but let me tell you, wait an hour and this thing turns wretched. It goes from really nice to horrible. It just smells sour and dirty. It is a very, I don't know if it's the musk in there. To be honest, I have no idea what the notes are. I know there's vanilla in there. I know there's almond in there because I can smell it. And I'm sure there's musk in there because in the dry down, it just starts to smell funky and rancid. Like if you spray this on your skin, you're going to smell like you forgot to take a shower for a week. I tested it on myself and my daughter also tested it. We tested it 2 separate times. We both came to the same conclusion. So it is a delicious perfume in the very beginning. It is a delicious perfume for the first 5 minutes. And then it becomes a literal stinker. No way in heck am I gonna be buying a perfume that smells like that for an astronomical price. And mark my words, nobody will be talking about this next year. Nobody, because it's not a good perfume and it's very overpriced. So the next one I tested was the newest flanker from Black Opium. I think it's called Black Opium Over Red. This perfume will appeal to all of the diehard fans of Black Opium. However, I am not a diehard fan of Black Opium. The only Black Opium that worked for me was the La Parfum because it's a very vanillic form of that DNA. The screechy orange blossom that I do not like is toned down on that and the vanilla is really amped up. So that is the only Black Opium that works for me. So this is basically take the original Black Opium DNA and add a little bit of cherry to it. And it's got a little bit more vanilla. The coffee's turned down just a bit, but it is that recognizable Black Opium with a little bit of cherry. So if you do like that DNA and you enjoy cherry, you probably will really love this perfume. And I definitely recommend go sampling, go smelling it. However, for me, it didn't add anything. I do enjoy cherry, but I don't need it because I don't wear La Parfum all the time. I have a 1 ounce bottle, which is all I need. I don't need this one because I already have enough cherry perfumes and the Le Parfum Black Opium is just enough for me. I am set. Next, I'm going to talk about 2 new niche releases, Lucky Candy and Sugar Kisses. Now, this was kind of a fun test for me. I tested them on my own by myself at my house, and then I brought them to work and actually made decants for a couple of coworkers. I had one coworker wear Lucky Candy. I had another coworker wear Sugar Kisses, and we had a lot of fun judging and testing throughout the day. So I was really surprised. I didn't look at any of the notes before I ordered my decants or my samples. Lucky Candy is, I thought it would be a really sweet candied perfume. It does have some sweetness. It does have candied sweetness, but it is a floral perfume. It is an overwhelmingly floral perfume with some citruses. So it is a very fresh, sweet, floral, citrusy floral perfume. And I think that's why a lot of people liked it because it has a freshness to it. It has tons of really gourmand notes that I didn't detect a whole lot. Let me look them up. So there's marshmallow, praline, and caramel in this perfume. I really did not get a whole lot of sweetness. What I got was florals, yellow florals. I want to say the flower is frangipani. A little bit of candied sweetness. There's musk in the dry down. There's a little bit of coconut, but it doesn't quite smell like a tropical drink, and it doesn't quite smell like sunscreen. So I thought it was pleasant. It was pleasant. It was fresh. It was nice. I found it a teensy bit generic. It just wasn't anything special. But my friend who wore it throughout the day smelled really good. I, however, was on Team Sugar Kisses. I had my friend Caitlin wear it, and she smelled so good throughout the day. This is a very sweet, very, very gourmand perfume. So this one has notes of caramel, toffee, cocoa butter, chocolate brown sugar, and coconut. Super, super gourmand perfume. It's going to put you in the ballpark of a few perfumes I already own. Bianco Latte and one that's called Madeira that I own. It is another vanilla caramel perfume with a lot of coconut. I adore that perfume. So even though this smelled absolutely spectacular, I did get a little bit of differences with this one. This one has a little bit like a chocolate cocoa butter nuance that definitely comes out, particularly in the beginning. That's how it's different from the other two, from Bianco Latte, from Madeira, and I absolutely loved it. I thought she smelled so good all day. When I wore it, I enjoyed it too, but it was really fun smelling it on somebody else, and I could smell Caitlin all day long. She was delicious. A couple of my work friends didn't really care for it because they're not gourmand lovers. They don't love vanilla. They don't love things that are super sweet. So if you don't love gourmand perfumes, vanillas, super heavy, sweet perfumes, you are not going to like Sugar Kisses. I loved it. Don't think I need it, but boy, I would love to have a bottle. I'm just trying not to have perfumes, a ton of perfumes with a lot of overlap. So I'm trying really, really hard not to get the bottle, but it is a delicious perfume. Okay, so the next two I'm going to talk about. One is an absolute hate. I'm sorry, Mama, you told me never to use that word, but when in Rome. Let's just get the worst release out of the way. It is called Nanatopia and is by BTSO. I have one BTSO. I have Indecent Cherry, a really syrupy cherry perfume, and I think Dirty Rice was good. I just didn't need it. I have a lot of rice perfumes already. I really enjoy the note of banana. I was really looking forward to this perfume. I did a whole video dedicated to fragrances featuring the note of banana, so I thought I would really, really enjoy this. No, this was an immediate no. I don't have a lot of perfumes that are described as scrubbers. Oh my Lord. I would have happily scrubbed this off with sandpaper if it was around. So this definitely has banana in it, but to me, this smells like stale banana bread that was left in a boy's high school locker room. That banana bread fell out of somebody's lunch bag at the beginning of the year and all sorts of horrible things tumbled on top of it. I don't know where to begin. This smells like stale banana bread, but it also smells like gym socks. It smells like stinky t-shirts. There's something very earthy about it, like dirt from the bottom of your child's tennis shoe fell and landed on the banana bread and just kind of added to the aroma. Whenever I smell something that smells like body odor, I'm thinking of two things, cumin and I'm thinking of woods, oftentimes when they're together. And I don't think any of those notes are in there, but there's just something foul and animalic about it. This was an immediate no-no, and I would be surprised. Listen, I'm sure lots of people like it. I'm just not one of those. So now I'm going to move on to the newest release by Zoologist. I really appreciate the artistry from that brand, but very few perfumes work out for me because I understand that they enjoy going out of the box, but for me and my personal taste, they go a little bit too far out of the box. So the newest one is called Penguin. So their fragrances typically resemble whatever little creature or critter is on the front. So I knew this was going to be kind of a cold and icy perfume, and somehow they manage to get that scent profile in a bottle. This is actually a strong like for me. So the notes in here are aldehydes, ice cubes, juniper, suede, and oak moss, and I really do get that. This to me smells like you go over to a friend's house, somebody you're dating, and they live in one of these very modernistic apartments. Everything's concrete and cold, and they serve you a sparkling mineral water, and they put a sprig of juniper and maybe an ice cube that has like junipers and peppers in them. They put that ice cube in there. So it's cold, it's icy, it's refreshing. There's aldehydes, it's kind of effervescent, but there's also this earthy oak moss in the background, and there is leather or suede. It's got that leathery suede touch, but it also is somehow cold and evergreeny and earthy at the same time. So even though I personally would not wear this, there's something quite addicting about this perfume, particularly in the dry down. I cannot explain it. So I would love to smell this on somebody else. To me, this leans masculine. I don't know what it is, but it just comes off masculine to me. It seems like something a very well-dressed person would wear. I would love to smell this on a man or Pat. I'm going to try to have Pat test the sample to see if he likes it, because this is something I would love to smell on him. I just wouldn't particularly wear myself. And I do think it is a very good, creative, wearable release from Zoologist. Actually, this video isn't as roasty as I thought it was going to be. I'm going to end the last two with two really good ones. The first one is called Amore Cafe. This is a really good release. To me, this smells like amaretto coffee ice cream. It's delicious. I think it actually has the note of ice cream in it. I think there's amaretto in it, some coffee, some brown sugar. Definitely sweet, definitely for those who enjoy something very gourmand, because it's a very gourmand perfume. It has a lot of sweet notes, and it is a lovely coffee fragrance. The reason I will not be getting it is I have a lot of coffee fragrances that for whatever reason I have not been reaching for. So this past year, the past year, I've just not been super into coffee fragrances. If I had, this would be a great one. So it is a delicious amaretto coffee ice cream perfume. Definitely worth the sample if you like something like that. And the last one, I'm going to end with a fragrance that I bought the full bottle of. I spoke of one time, I spoke about it in my video that I released on Valentine's Day called Narcotic Delight. When I first heard Initio was coming out with a new perfume with the notes of tobacco and cherry, I just kind of like, well, this probably is not going to be a perfume for me. I went ahead and got a decant because lots of people were asking me about it. And this one, I will say, this one was love at first sniff. This one completely, unfortunately, blew me away. And on my third wearing, I wore it to work. I sprayed 4 times at 7 in the morning, and people were still at 4 o'clock in the afternoon coming into my office telling me how great I smelled. This one was, for whatever reason, a huge hit with my work friends. That it was delicious. Somebody told me they thought it smelled like Side Effect. This smells nothing like Side Effect. It does have tobacco in it, but this Side Effect leans masculine. This leans very feminine, in my opinion. It's a very different perfume. Yes, there's tobacco in it. Yes, there's cherry, but it has vanilla. There's amber. It's sweet. It has a booziness to it. I want to say it's cognac, so it is boozy. And it starts off smelling like cherries, but to me, in the dry down, I get apples. I get something that's very appley, and I'm not the only one. Someone else asked me when I was wearing this perfume if it had apples in it. So for whatever reason, the dry down starts to smell like apples, although the opening has some cherry nuances. So it has this beautiful, sweet, vanillic, fruity sweetness with that magic sauce that Initio often concocts in their fragrances. I went ahead and I bought the full bottle. I'm not disappointed in the least. This thing is a powerhouse. It lasts all day. It is delicious, but it is very, very pricey. These perfumes are pricey. So definitely get a decant, which is available on multiple sites, and I will list below where I got my decant from. And I think that'll do it. I think I have 2 more, but I'll save that for the next one. I hope this wasn't too harsh. I hope you enjoyed your time spent with me. I hope you enjoyed this video. If so, I would love it if you would give me a thumbs up. It does help my channel, as well as subscribing. Subscribing and giving us a thumbs up does help the algorithm. It helps put our videos out so other people can see. So thanks again for sticking around. Thanks for watching, and I will see you on the next one.